The head of Xbox just sent out a memo to every single employee in the company, and buried inside it was a line that no executive in this industry ever admits. Quote, "We have work to do. Players are frustrated." And not only did she just admit it, it was the first thing she addressed. The new CEO of Xbox addressed the elephant in the room in a public memo for the entire world to read, and she didn't just leave it there. The Microsoft gaming brand name they've been using for the last 4 years is gone. The Game Pass price hike they announced last year, that's cut, and she is ripping apart almost everything the last CEO Phil Spencer built. She became a CEO only 2 months ago and immediately got to work. But here's the part that actually made me stop and pay attention. There's a single line in this memo about game exclusivity that changes what Xbox looks like for the indefinite future, and a leaked release date for one of Xbox's biggest franchises tells me that this isn't just talk. And the shift that Xbox is making right now with this memo is sending waves through the community. I mean, don't take my word for it. This tweet from yesterday has almost 6 million views at the time of recording this, 161,000 likes, and all it is a return to form. We are Xbox. They revealed the new Xbox logo and people lost their mind. Of course, this tweet came after Asha released the We Are Xbox memo over on her own Twitter account. You can see even this 48,000 likes, 2.2 million views. This got trending on Twitter. When was the last time Xbox was trending on Twitter for something that's good? Now, in a minute, we'll dive into what the community is actually saying about this memo, but first, let's actually talk about what is in the memo because it's wild. Her name is Asha Sharma. She took over as CEO of Xbox back in February after Phil Spencer over here retired, and his expected successor, Sarah Bond, also left the company alongside him. Thank God for that, by the way. And 2 months into her role, she co-authored this memo with Xbox's chief content officer, and they published this publicly on Xbox Wire for anybody to read. It is titled We Are Xbox. And honestly, this entire memo reads like somebody who walked into a building, looked around, and asked themselves, what happened here? So let's quickly go over this memo, and I don't want to insult your intelligence. I'm going to link it down below if you just want to read it yourself. I always put all of my sources in the description below, so if you want to dive deeper into any of that, the links will be in the description. And while you're down there, consider dropping a thumbs up on the video. And I just want to take this moment to thank you guys, because my last video is my 4th most viewed video on the entire channel, which is insane. The support has been incredible, and really it's all thanks to you guys who've been liking the videos using the new hype feature. So thank you. Okay, let's read this memo because this is what had Xbox trending on Twitter. Dear team, Xbox has always been different. We started with a simple idea. Games should bring people together through shared experiences. That led to the first Xbox in 2001, Xbox Live in 2002, and new ways to connect, from friends lists and achievements to parties and play across devices. Today, Xbox reaches over 500 million players around the world with some of the most important franchises in entertainment. I don't love that 500 million player number. That's a little bit okay. They're including things like Candy Crush into that. Okay, so like let's just be honest here. Okay, but anyway, all right, I'm gonna let her cook. From the beginning, Xbox was built by people willing to try things that others wouldn't. That spirit has carried Xbox through the last 25 years, and it is required to carry us forward. We have work to do. Players are frustrated. Really? You don't say. Oh, players are frustrated, man. I don't know. You guys can let me know. What do you think in the comments? Are players frustrated with Xbox over the last 6 to 12 months? I'm curious what you guys have to think. New feature drops on console have been less frequent. Our presence on PC isn't strong enough. Pricing is getting harder for people to keep up with. True, brother. True. Or should I say sister? I don't know. And core experiences like search, discovery, social, and personalization still feel too fragmented. Developers and publishers are asking for more too. Better tools, better insights, and a platform that helps them grow faster. At the same time, a new generation of players is coming online with different expectations. Their time is split across games, media, and everything else competing for attention. That's TikTok, folks, and YouTube Shorts, and they're doing that instead of playing Halo, basically. They expect more content in familiar places, want to shape the worlds they play in, and want to create and socialize together, not just play together. And this part is huge right here, okay? These changes are happening as the industry reshapes around us. Xbox. Quote, console remains large and stable. That's it, folks. That's the part that the entire messaging around Phil Spencer's Xbox was just completely missed the mark, right? Remember, everything is an Xbox. Remember that absolute delusional slogan that everybody thought was just ridiculous? Right in the garbage, right in the garbage. Asha comes right out and says it and just is like, look, we can be on PC, we can even be on mobile, but console, that's where the Xbox brand lives. That's what everyone thinks of when they think of Xbox. That's the box part of Xbox. It's the box that's under the TV. And honestly, I love to see it. Okay, maybe it's just because I'm unk. Okay, maybe it's just because I'm a boomer. I like console gaming. Yes, I like PC gaming as well. Okay, I even like mobile gaming, but console is where it's at. And this line right here is important. Players have access to more games than ever, even as the cost and time to build blockbuster titles continues to rise, putting pressure on what gets made and how risk is taken. Some of the biggest recent hits are coming from small teams or even single creators, and places like Roblox are producing experiences that rival major franchises in scale. They hit the nail right on the head. Absolutely. This is the number one core thing that developers and game companies, these AAA studios, need to understand if they are going to survive in 2026 and beyond. Why would somebody pay $70+ for the latest Assassin's Creed slop or the reskinned Mario Tennis game when they can boot up Steam and have an entire catalog of games for the same price? And even if they have no money, they just boot up Fortnite with the boys for $0, or they jump into a game like Genshin Impact, which has hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of gameplay for, again, $0. This statement right here proves to me that Asha knows what the industry is up to right now. She is a ball knower confirmed, but it's going to take more than just acknowledging this. We're going to have to see what Xbox actually does to tackle an industry this big and this complex, because as they go on to say, the model that got us here won't be the one that takes us forward. What does Xbox become in this next era? Xbox will be where the world plays and creates. Console is at the foundation, delivering a premium experience, and cloud brings that experience to any device. You can play where you want, and your games, progress, friends, and identity stay with you across console, PC, mobile, and cloud. That's a much better positioning than saying everything is an Xbox, right? That's not what gamers want. They know that now. They paid the price for it, frankly, and they are returning to console is the foundation with a premium experience. That's it, right? I mean, that is what matters most. Kind of a shocker, isn't it? Hey, gamers want good games. Can you believe that? Oh my God, what? Gamers want to play a good game? What do you mean? They go on to say Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing so it's easy to get started and keep playing. That's big, right? That is, again, ball knower confirmed. They're admitting that, okay, yes, we want to deliver a premium experience. Games are what sell consoles, but at the same time, you have to have it at a price point that actually meets the consumer where they are. It's all about value proposition, and that is like the North Star that I've talked about throughout every video on this YouTube channel, whether we're talking about Xbox, Nintendo, Pokemon, it doesn't matter. The North Star for me is value proposition, okay? And it has never been harder for a gaming company to deliver on a solid value proposition in a world where, again, so much content is literally free and surprisingly high quality. Xbox says our new North Star will be daily active players. That is a much better North Star than what it seemed to be under Phil Spencer, which was how much money can we make in the shortest amount of time possible. Anyway, here are Xbox's new 4 priorities: hardware, content, experience, and services. Okay, hardware. Stabilize Gen 9 as a healthy and high quality base. Okay, so that is the current generation of systems. That's what they're talking about here. So it looks like they're starting with a commitment to what is already on the market, which is surprising, especially considering everyone's looking forward to what is the PS6. Everyone just got a Switch 2, and they do touch on that here. Deliver Project Helix to lead in performance and play your console and PC games. Okay, so Project Helix is the next generation Xbox console. We don't know that much about it, but they are committing to that here. Okay, lead in comfortable, personal, high performance accessories. Build a strong ecosystem that expands choice and reach. Okay, cool. Content. Grow and extend an enduring portfolio of franchises players love. Well, great news news for Xbox because they already have a massive portfolio of franchises people love. It's just a matter of actually making good games for them. Halo, Gears of War, which we'll talk about later in the video. Don't forget Microsoft owns Bethesda, so Elder Scrolls, okay? Microsoft also owns Minecraft. They also own Blizzard Entertainment, okay? So Diablo, World of Warcraft. I mean, frankly, Xbox does have an insane lineup of some of the best franchises in the history of gaming. The problem is that they're either not releasing games or the games they're releasing suck. I am begging you, please give me another good Fable game. So this first bullet point is like, honestly, it's almost the easiest part, and it's where they're going to get the most out of their efforts, right? This is the low risk, high reward play. Okay. If you just take, like, we already like your stuff, just take a little bit more time and make it good, and then that's it, you win, or at least you compete with Nintendo. Anyway, evolve our 3P partnerships and strengthen our 5-year slate. That's all corporate jargon. Expand it to China, emerging markets, and mobile first audiences. Again, that's just corporate stuff, and I'm not saying that these things aren't important. Obviously they're absolutely mission critical, but us as players, I mean, I don't care if they expand into China. I just want to play a good game. Okay. Maintain and grow in live games and long-term stewardship. A little bit controversial there. Okay. I think people are a little bit fatigued from live service, but we'll see how they do it. I still think a good live service game can be exciting, but anyway. Elevate creator-centric platforms like Minecraft, Elder Scrolls, and Sea of Thieves. True. Experience. Fix the fundamentals for players and partners. Great. And services. Fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation and sustainable economics. Return the business to durable growth and strong cost discipline. We love to see it. Okay. And then there's a bit more corporate jargon here, and they kind of end on saying, thank you for staying focused on what matters. 62 days in, we are proud of how we've honored our commitments of great games, return of Xbox, and future of play. 62 days, folks. That's really impressive. Now look, none of this memo is really news to anyone who's been paying attention. Xbox fans have been asking for a lot of this stuff for years. The difference is that this time it's coming from the person in charge. She's not dancing around it. She's just coming out there and saying it. And for a company that spent the last several years telling us that everything is an Xbox, while their actual console experience got worse and more expensive, this memo matters. And like I said earlier, this went viral on Twitter, and a lot of gamers are kind of on board with what they're reading here, and they're really excited about what's coming. This tweet says, it feels like Xbox is going to do a 360 from now on. 22,000 likes, 500,000 views. Now obviously the joke here is that 360 is, you know, the Xbox 360. They're saying that they want them to do more of that, but also a 360 just means you're back to where we started here. Okay, we're going in the same direction. So I mean, hey, it's almost like they could do the right thing, but maybe not. This tweet says, this is the most definitive message in the 25 years of Xbox. Can't help but be impressed and rooting for them to deliver. Over 100,000 views here, but this user's response actually does sort of focus in on something that a lot of people are also feeling, which is saying that this doesn't really feel like a definitive message because right now it's just words. Phil Spencer was great at messaging after the disastrous Xbox One launch, and it was just words too. True. Okay, we'll touch on that in a second, but again, a lot of the people were really positive to this. Even Walmart Canada Gaming said how it started, how it's going. 3.8 thousand likes. I didn't even know Walmart Canada had a gaming division. Like, what is, why, who, what, when, what? Okay. Xbox Nostalgia tweeted this, right? Which again, a lot of people really like the new logo. 23,000 likes, over 100,000 views. This user said, we're getting closer to peak Xbox, and they quote tweeted the new logo redesign. 1.7 thousand likes. Even Jeff Keighley got some positive attention from this. Xbox has announced its new strategy, quote, the model that got us here won't be the one that takes us forward, end quote. Changes will include reevaluation of exclusivity, Windows and AI, Microsoft gaming back to Xbox, new North Star daily active users, 13,000 likes, 1 million views. But probably my favorite tweet that I saw today was, the greatest gaming CEO of our times is a non-gamer Indian woman. Okay, and like, look, 75,000 likes, 2.7 million views. Everyone knows it's Gabe, right? Everyone knows it's Gabe, but still, like, look, again, I'm old. Okay, so I remember the Xbox 360 lobbies, and getting Xbox fans to love and appreciate an Indian woman. We are reaching levels of optimism never before seen in the Xbox community. Okay, the hardcore gaming community hasn't exactly been the most inclusive over the last couple of years, or really like pretty much ever. But again, like I said earlier, words are easy. Everyone can write a nice memo, so let's look at what she's actually done so far. Since 2022, when Microsoft announced the Activision Blizzard acquisition, the gaming division has been called Microsoft Gaming. It was this corporate umbrella meant to signal that Xbox was bigger than just a console. It was PC, it was mobile, it was cloud, it was everything. And the name reflected that. Microsoft Gaming, not Xbox, Microsoft. Sharma just reversed that, and in the memo she wrote that Microsoft Gaming describes our structure, but it does not describe our ambition. So they're dropping it. That's it. It's done. The division is just called Xbox again. And that's when the Xbox account posted 3 words on Twitter: "We are Xbox," with a brand new logo, and people lost their minds. And honestly, the logo is fire. It's the classic X shape, but with this glossy, vibrant green finish that looks something out of the original Xbox era. They ditched the flat, minimalist, corporate look that every tech company has been doing for the last decade and went back to something that actually has personality. I can't tell you how many brands and logos have been absolutely desecrated over the last 10 years by this stupid, flat minimalism strategy that has super overstayed its welcome. We should have left that minimalism in the 2010s, frankly. So I'm super happy to see a logo that actually represents what the company is all about. Now look, is changing the name of the division and a new logo a big deal by itself? No, absolutely not, right? But it tells you something about where her head is at. She's not trying to build on what came before, she's trying to undo it, right? And the name change and the new logo is just the start. She looked at everything Phil Spencer did and said, okay, hand me the nearest sledgehammer because this is garbage. And she didn't just start with returning to the Xbox name and a new logo, they also announced a price reversal. And this is where Xbox, they just admitted it. They were greedy and it didn't work. That's what happened. 2 days before that memo dropped, Xbox announced that Game Pass Ultimate, their top tier subscription, is going from $30 a month down to $23 a month. PC Game Pass is dropping from $16.50 to $14. And the way they got there is interesting. They pulled day one Call of Duty releases out of Game Pass, which a lot of people have talked about being like the #1 reason that they raised the price to begin with. They thought that, okay, Call of Duty is this mega franchise, and having it on day one, yeah, we're going to lose the sales of Call of Duty, but we're going to gain new subscriptions, keep more subscriptions. That was their bet. And again, it was just greedy. That was just not what people wanted. So instead of getting the new Call of Duty on launch day as part of your subscription, you'll now have to buy it separately, but in exchange, the monthly price comes down by $7. So over the course of the year, that saves you $84. So if you want Call of Duty, you just buy it with the money you save. But for everybody who doesn't care about Call of Duty because it hasn't been good in a decade, now you've got a more affordable subscription option, at least more affordable than $30 a month. They say Xbox Game Pass subscribers will continue to have access to hundreds of games on Xbox console and PC, including current Call of Duty titles, in-game benefits, online console multiplayer, unlimited Xbox cloud gaming, and major day one releases. You can debate whether this is a good trade or not. Call of Duty is it is a massive draw for Game Pass, but clearly it wasn't big enough for them to justify keeping it around at the new price point. And really, the one thing you can't debate is why they did this. I mean, it's abundantly clear. Sharma basically said the price was too high and people were leaving. That's not speculation. She said pricing was getting harder for people to keep up with in the memo we just read. This is her directly responding to that, and it doesn't stop here. Just yesterday, a leak surfaced showing that Xbox is about to launch something called Game Pass Starter Edition, bundled inside Discord Nitro. Check this out, a Game Pass Starter Edition bringing Stardew Valley and Fallout 4 to Discord Nitro just leaked. The chat platform subscription will seemingly give players access to some games for free. Microsoft teased a new partnership with Discord earlier this week that led some players to wonder if the popular chat platform's paid Nitro subscription would start getting bundled with Game Pass. It turns out the opposite is happening. According to the latest leaks, a new tier of Xbox service called Game Pass Starter Edition is coming to Discord users in the near future. Images of the newest version of Game Pass were discovered and shared by Discord previews via The Verge and point to some of the benefits of Xbox's Netflix-like game library becoming part of Discord's existing $10 a month Nitro subscription. Game Pass Starter Edition will reportedly give Discord users access to over 50 games, including Stardew Valley and Fallout 4, as well as up to 10 hours of cloud game streaming a month. And here you could see the sort of tweet that set off all of this rumor and speculation. Discord Nitro subscribers can soon enjoy free access to Game Pass Starter Edition, which includes access to over 50 games, Xbox rewards. Here we see again Stardew Valley, Fallout 4. These leaks come a month after Xbox CEO Asha Sharma met with Netflix co-CEO Greg Peters about ways to bundle Game Pass with other subscriptions, and just a week after Microsoft announced day and date Call of Duty releases would be removed from Game Pass Ultimate to bring its price down. It's unclear if the price of that subscription will go up to compensate for this, or if this is a temporary experiment to see how the math works out for both companies. So if you already pay for Nitro, which is $10 a month, you get access to over 50 games, stuff like Stardew Valley and Fallout 4. These are like big name brand games, and it's included for free with what you're already paying. Think about what that means strategically. Xbox is trying to get Game Pass in front of people who aren't even looking for it. Discord power users who are already paying for Nitro suddenly have access to a game library. That's not a move you make when things are going well. That's a move you make when you need more players fast. And remember, Sharma said daily active players is the new North Star, not console sales, not subscriber members, just people logging in across everything. Console, PC, cloud, mobile. They have 500 million right now, and she wants more. And honestly, while this does seem sort of like a desperate attempt at getting more people into the ecosystem and sort of an experimental way of doing so, I'm gonna be honest, I'm on board. This is a great value proposition as somebody who already pays for Discord Nitro. Great, I just get Fallout 4, fantastic, maybe I'll try it out. Okay, cool, I get Stardew Valley, maybe I'll play that with my girlfriend now, right? Like, this is just a W for gamers. Objectively, across the board, it's just a win. You just get more stuff for what you're already paying for, and that's what I said earlier. It's all about value proposition. And ideally for Discord, it's going to be a win for them too, because now people are going to be like, okay, well, I don't use Discord enough to get Nitro just for the Discord perks, but okay, well, now I get some games with it, and maybe more games will come to it. Now I can justify the price. It's a win-win. Now look, if this goes really well, let's all be honest here, the price is going up. All right, Nitro's, the price is gonna go up. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. Okay, but for right now, at least, it's a good value, and I hope that this partnership actually works out. I hope everybody wins from this, the gamers first and foremost. But now here's the part that I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I think is going to completely reshape Xbox moving forward. Okay, I said this at the very top. There is a line in this memo that is easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but it might be the most important sentence in the entire thing. They wrote, along the way, we will reevaluate our approach to exclusivity, windowing, and AI, and share more as we learn and decide. Reevaluate their approach to exclusivity and AI. Read that again. For the last 2 years, Xbox's strategy has been to put their games everywhere. Halo on PlayStation. Oh, I'm kidding. I love the PS5, but it just doesn't feel right. Even as somebody, I don't even care about the Xbox brand, but even as somebody that doesn't care, that just feels wrong. Forza on PlayStation, Sea of Thieves on PlayStation. We've got Gears of War on PlayStation. They basically gave up on the idea that exclusive games sell hardware. They said, we don't need exclusives. We're a platform. Everything's an Xbox. Play whatever you want, wherever you want. And it didn't work. It didn't work. Hardware sales kept declining through the floor. The brand identity got weaker than it has ever been. Players stopped understanding what Xbox even was anymore. Even myself, my second most viewed video on this entire YouTube channel is talking about the fact that Xbox just officially collapsed. And that video clearly resonated with hundreds of thousands of you because we're all thinking the same thing. What are they doing? They're just killing their brand. And now the new CEO is publicly saying that they are going to rethink all of that. She's not committing to anything specific yet, and that's deliberate, but the signals are already there if you know where to look. Forza Horizon 6, it's coming to PS5, but on a delay. Not not day and date like the recent ports, and Gears of War E-Day, as of right now, it has not been confirmed for PlayStation at all. It's only announced for Xbox and PC. That's a shift. That's not everything is an Xbox anymore. That's some things might actually be Xbox only again. And whether you're an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan, or a Nintendo fan, that changes the competitive landscape in gaming for everyone. Now, it only matters if these games come out and they're actually good, so that's like the big hurdle that they have to get over, okay? And all of this talk about exclusives brings us to the other leak that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So let's talk about Gears of War. A well-known leaker who goes by the name TheGhostOfHope, who is mostly known for Call of Duty leaks but has a solid track record, casually dropped that Gears of War E-Day is releasing in September of this year, not November, which is what a lot of people expected, since November is the franchise's 20th anniversary. September. This was reported on by Game Rant Rumor. Leaker narrows down Gears of War E-Day release date because we know that it's coming in the fall of 2026. We just don't know exactly when, right? Fans of the third-person shooter series have gone without a new mainline game for a long time, with Gears 5 being released in 2019 and only a spin-off and a remake coming out since. The upcoming Gears of War E-Day will finally break that dry spell, and now there may be a more specific release window to look forward to. And here's the leak, okay? TheGhostOfHope tweeted, "I'm not sure I believe that cover art leak for Modern Warfare 4, but it wouldn't shock me if someone somehow got their hands on it." And then somebody responded saying, "I'm honestly shocked that they haven't revealed the game yet," meaning Modern Warfare 4. "I feel like they got to push up the release to September if they know what's good for them. If they go with October, they need to actually have an early beta and take a ton of feedback and actually implement it." And TheGhostOfHope responds, "They're not doing September because Xbox has Gears and other stuff then." So TheGhostOfHope just casually drops the fact that Xbox is releasing Gears of War in September in the middle of a discussion about Call of Duty. And this makes sense, right? I mean, I know that Gears of War, the anniversary is in November, but guess what's also allegedly coming in November? Grand Theft Auto, right? So I mean, no game wants to launch the same month as Grand Theft Auto. It just ain't happening, right? I mean, there's nothing that can compete with Grand Theft Auto, not a game franchise on the planet that can compete with them. It doesn't matter if it's Gears of War, if it's Halo, if it's a new 3D Mario game, or the latest Pokemon version. It's nothing is competing with GTA this year. Let's just get that out of the way, okay? And least of all Gears of War, okay? Because as much as people love this franchise, it hasn't exactly been this dominant powerhouse in the gaming scene for the last decade. So it would make sense, right? We get Gears of War in September, we get Call of Duty in October, and then Microsoft, they just sit back and say, okay, November, December, you can take that Rockstar, that's yours. We're gonna bow out. We're not gonna compete with you there, right? And that's the logical thing for them to do. And honestly, this is the new CEO's first real test. This is not a memo. This is not a price cut. This is not a new flashy logo. This is an actual game that you will need to buy an Xbox for if you want to play it. This is going to be the first test to see if they have done enough come September to convince people to have faith in the Xbox brand enough to get one or keep one for the latest Gears series. Now, we also know that the Xbox Games Showcase is confirmed for June 7th with a dedicated Gears of War E-Day Direct happening right after. So we're probably less than 2 months away from seeing actual gameplay and getting the official release date. And if the September window is real, that showcase is going to be massive. Now, look, I want to be honest about where I stand with all of this. Everything that Asha Sharma has done so far, the rebrand, the price cuts, the exclusivity language, the memo itself, all of it is the right move. If you wrote a checklist of things Xbox fans have been begging for over the last 3 years, she is checking boxes faster than anyone expected. But I also think it's worth remembering that this is a company that told us, quote, "We're going to focus on games," while they were shipping consoles without exclusives. This is a company that told us that they have the best value in gaming with their Game Pass while raising the price of Game Pass and their consoles like every 6 months. Xbox has been really good at saying the right things things. And what's in this memo? It's still just words. They're well written, well timed, well marketed, but it's still at this point just words. And it's a good start, but they've been good at words in the past and then constantly do things that have the entire gaming community asking like, what is even happening here? And there's a line in the memo where she says, quote, "We're a challenger." And I think that's actually the most honest thing in the entire document, because right now in 2026 they are. Nintendo is selling Switch 2 consoles faster than they can make them, it feels like, at least in Japan. PlayStation is about to drop Soros, which already has critic reviews, and they're really quite good. And Xbox is just sitting here with a rebrand and a dream, a promise that they'll do better. So the real test isn't the memo, it's not the logo, it's not the price cut. The real test is whether Gears of War E-Day is genuinely a great game, whether it stays exclusive, and whether Project Helix, the next gen hardware, delivers something that makes people want to buy an Xbox again. The quality has to be there and the price point has to meet customers where they are right now. Because if all of this energy leads to another console generation where the best Xbox games are also on PlayStation, then this memo is just a really nice letter. But if she actually follows through, if the games are exclusive, if the price stays fair and the hardware is worth owning, then this might be the most important week Xbox has had in a decade. I guess we'll find out in September, because if Xbox really wanted to, the list of games that they could make exclusive to Xbox is absolutely diabolical. Now, who knows what contracts they have and what commitments they've already made. So while the probability might be small right now, there's a non-zero chance that in 2027 or 2028 you will be buying an Xbox, and that is not something that I thought I would say just 6 months ago. But let me know what you think in the comments section below, and if you made it all the way to the end of the video, consider dropping a thumbs up down there. It really does help out the channel a ton, and you might think you're subscribed because you've seen a ton of my videos, but you're actually not. Double check down below.